Molweni, good afternoon. Sekunjema, Zuva Rakanaka, Maswara Sei, Huyedah, Dumelang, Sanbonani, and a very warm welcome to you all, our new UCT parents and guardians. Welcome to the University of Cape Town. Today, you and your child become members of our ever-expanding UCT community, and we welcome you wholeheartedly. By enrolling your child at the University of Cape Town, you become a member of the UCT community. Perhaps you do not stay in Cape Town or even in South Africa, wherever you live and wherever you're joining us from. We really consider you a part of our extended UCT family and one of the main stakeholders in our academic enterprise. You can keep abreast of the latest happenings as a member of the community. You can keep abreast of the debates that we are having on campus via our UCT website, our newsletters, and social media channels. You can easily also attend UCT online public lectures by international academics and world-renowned thought leaders and enroll in our annual summer school. You and your child can even attend these events together virtually. Your active participation in our campus life will not only enrich discussions and debates with your friends and colleagues, but it will also draw you and your child even closer together through the sharing of ideas and experiences. And of course, my colleagues and I are happy to hear from you via email or telephone call if you should have any questions or concerns. But as you know, email is much better because you don't get a message that says someone is on the call. We value your input and want to stress the importance of your role in cheering on your child and ensuring their success. Thank you for sending your child to us. We consider it a great honor that you have entrusted your children's future to UCT. We had more than 100,000 applications for admission to UCT just for this year, and only 4,000 places to offer. So it is no small achievement just to get accepted. And so we are very proud of your children, and you have every right to be proud too. Seeing your child embark on this academic journey is an exciting time for you and your loved ones. And I can tell you, as a mother, I know it is also a bit nerve-wracking, but rest assured that we will do everything within our power to nurture and protect all students in our care. Listening to me today as a parent, as a guardian or friend of a first-year student, you should be justifiably proud of the journey you have taken with your child to reach this point. Yes, ultimately, it is your child's achievement, but we honor the role you have played in supporting their dreams and aspirations and motivating them when the going got tough. We're going to need you to continue doing that because the going does get tough. This journey has perhaps entailed making many sacrifices, and we salute you for facing every obstacle and every challenge to here. From your child's perspective, the focus, the discipline, and the sheer hard work that got them here will serve them very well during their undergraduate studies and later on when they're in the world of work. If one of the difficulties you face concerns funding for your child's studies, please explore financial aid options that are available to support deserving and needy students. At UCT, we never want finances to be a reason for limiting students' opportunities, especially those who have the potential to excel academically. Financial aid remains the largest budget item at UCT. Even though we would like to, we are unfortunately not able to fund all our students, even with the largest budget item. But we try hard to ensure that financially needy students are supported. We work with all key funders from government, corporates, non-governmental organizations, foundations, individual donors, alumni, and other key parties to raise funds for our students. Just last year, in 2021, we provided over 1.7 billion rands to assist deserving undergraduate and postgraduate students. That is a lot of money. More importantly, we work closely with one of our most important funders, the National Student Financial Aid Scheme, NSFAS. We also support students from middle-income homes through our GAP funding scheme. And GAP funding scheme is UCT's financial aid program for what some people call the missing middle. These are students who come from families with an annual gross income above the NSFAS threshold of 350,000 rands total family income per annum, but no more than 600,000 rands total family income per annum. As GAP funding is exclusively financed by UCT, our financial support and commitment extends substantially above the amount that the state offers students in financial need. Furthermore, the university makes allowance in GAP funding for families whose siblings are registered for undergraduate studies at the same time. And this should serve as an incentive for you if you have your child here and there's another one coming, to encourage them to apply to UCT, because we do give a discount for such families. Another practical example of our financial aid support is that UCT tops up the book allowance provided to NSFAS funded students to enable them to have laptops for all their university work. This doesn't happen at all other universities. All other universities say, you've got NSFAS, and we top it up to make sure that all NSFAS students have a laptop, because it is important for us that they have all that they need to succeed. You can find out more information about UCT's funding options on our financial aid web pages. So go out there, search for them and educate yourself, and make sure you share with your child or whoever you support as a guardian at UCT. As a proudly African university, UCT provides innovative, socially engaged curricula at the cutting edge of their related disciplines and professions. Over the next few years, your child will engage with academics who are leading scholars in their disciplines globally. During this time, we will provide them with the knowledge and skills that will enable them to contribute confidently to a workplace and world characterized by change. In the process, we encourage them to use their skills and knowledge to enhance the quality of life for all, not only on the continent, but broadly. We also want to nurture an appreciation of lifelong learning. We build an ethos of excellence in all we do at UCT. This ethos is underpinned by the guiding principles of transformation and sustainability. Even as we pursue excellence, we remain mindful of the fact that excellence is not benign. It is not always innocent. We are fully aware that used without discernment or an understanding of its complexity, claims of excellence can marginalize others. This is not what UCT is about. We also know that excellence does not just happen on its own. Excellence requires nurturing and an enabling environment to ensure that it shows up in all its diversity. At UCT, we believe transformation and sustainability are the pillars that support excellence. We believe that if we don't drive transformation and sustainability, we will lose our excellence. We will lose the opportunity to be excellence. So by ensuring successful transformation, challenging the lingering inequalities, and creating a culture that celebrates diversity, we encourage equity and full participation by all in UCT's success. And this success, in turn, provides the foundation for UCT's sustainability. Transformation and sustainability also bolster UCT's bold new strategic plan, Vision 2030. This provides a blueprint for the university's development in the coming decade. Broadly, Vision 2030 aims to unleash the full range of human potential to create a fair and just society through our core academic functions of teaching, research, and community engagement. Vision 2030 provides a framework to refocus the university as we adapt to the challenges of a post-pandemic world. It emphasizes the importance of supporting and celebrating diverse ways of thinking, being, and doing in all we do. Because your children chose UCT or chose to study at UCT, we are confident that they will help foster a learning environment that is welcoming, that is tolerant and inclusive, where ideas can be shared and debated, where opposing ideas can be discussed without animosity. And it's important that I'm clear that while we encourage different viewpoints at UCT, we do not tolerate racist, xenophobic, sexist, or homophobic behavior or language at UCT. We at UCT are guided by the values of the South African Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and we operate according to their the principles of respect for human dignity, human rights, equality, non-sexism, non-racialism. It is okay for students to critique the Constitution, but it is important for them to know that this, our South African Constitution, is what guides our behavior. UCT belongs to all of us and should be a safe home for all who work and study here. Every member of the UCT community deserves respect and dignity, irrespective of who they are. We hope that as our students progress in their studies, they will gain an even greater appreciation of the adage that strength lies in diversity. Diversity is deeply embedded and in fact, to every facet of human connection. And I always tell students never to miss the opportunity to learn from this diversity. At UCT, your child will engage with people from all walks of life, from across the country and other parts of the Africa, of the continent, and the world. Some may become lifelong friends. They may actually get out of UCT with the strongest network they could have ever imagined. On graduation, their association with the university will connect them to a network of thousands of UCT alumni stretching across the globe. So I encourage you to encourage your child to interact with other students. They don't have to smell like them, look like them, or think like them. When they're different, actually, that's where the learning comes in. You don't have to make assumptions. They ask questions, and that's where the learning happens. Our Vision 2030 also commits the university to providing holistic, innovative, future-oriented education and to conducting research that addresses the continent's most pressing problems while it contributes to global knowledge. One of our goals for teaching and research is to provide digitally enabled education. While the pandemic brought loss and pain, discomfort and disruption, it also catapulted UCT several years into the future. As an institution, we are encouraging our teaching and learning staff to not just think about the use of technology during the disruptions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, but to look at the opportunities created by this disruption and how technology enables and enhances your child's learning experience and supports their success. I trust that you and your child look at our university's academic track record and discover that UCT's degrees are internationally recognized. We collaborate with leading universities from all over the world. These research and knowledge sharing partnerships not only cement our international profile, but they also improve the quality of the programs we offer. Last year, UCT's international reputation for excellence was once again acknowledged in 5 of the world's most respected university rankings. They all placed UCT among the world's premier universities and once again crowned us Africa's top university. Our place in the world rankings is a testament to the work of academics and researchers, our administrative and support staff, as well as our students Together, they elevate UCT to even greater heights. The many awards they receive help UCT continue to shine. So your child's success is our success. The question many of you will have for me today probably is, what will the 2022 academic year look like? Surely, it can look like 2019, it can look like 2020 or 2022. And I'm saying it can look like 2019 because COVID is still here with us. So it's going to be different. While we continue to draw on the benefits of virtual engagements, we are back on campus and we remain hopeful that for the whole of 2022, our campus will remain open. As we enter the third year of the pandemic, we are doing everything we can to ensure the health and safety of our students and staff as we carefully navigate a return to regular operations. Our academic departments are returning to some face-to-face teaching, which will be monitored carefully and adjusted as needed to minimize risk. For those of you who are concerned about the possibility of your child having to share accommodation with unvaccinated students, be rest assured that fully vaccinated students, if they are allocated a double room, they will share only with other fully vaccinated students. Regardless of their vaccination status, students will be required to always wear their masks while on campus, except when they are in their own residence rooms or they're eating perhaps. The university-wide social distancing requirements will be applied to lecture venues and residence dining rooms. If your child is unvaccinated and has any concerns about the COVID-19 vaccination, we have a dedicated counseling service coordinated by UCT Student Wellness Services. Here, counselors will help students work through any issues they may have regarding vaccination in particular and the impact of the virus in general. Over the past 2 years, UCT has consistently encouraged staff and students to follow the official COVID-19 protocols, including social distancing and washing or sanitizing hands. We have also strongly encouraged our students and staff to be fully vaccinated. To ensure the safety and well-being of the campus community, the University Council approved in principle a proposal requiring that all staff and students provide acceptable proof of having been vaccinated against COVID-19. This draft policy was published in full and a consultation process among UCT stakeholders was held. And as I speak to you today, members of the UCT's vaccine mandate panel are considering all comments, and a final decision on the policy will be made by UCT Council in the near future. While we consider the mandatory vaccination policy, we continue to urge all staff and students to get vaccinated. We have a UCT Community of Hope Vaccination Center, and this is a state-of-the-art vaccination center, which is a joint initiative with the provincial government's Department of Health. It is located here on campus at the Forest Hill Residence Precinct on Main Road in Mowbray, and it provides an opportunity for students, staff members, and a surrounding community to receive their free vaccinations right here on campus, easily and safely. COVID-19 aside, over the years, UCT has spent a great deal of time and energy to provide superior ongoing support for all our student needs. If there is only one thing I need you to remember to discuss with your child after my talk today, it is this: they must never hesitate to ask for help or advice whilst they are at UCT. We are here to assist them. And so no question is a stupid question. No question is unnecessary. We will respond to their questions and help them understand whatever they are struggling with. Whether this advice is about academic matters such as subject choice or coursework, or about choosing a career, or about general physical or mental health, many avenues provide help and support here at UCT. When it comes to their studies, they should reach out to their course coordinator, who may in turn refer them to an academic support staff member. In the case of any wellness issue, we have a team of health professionals at our Student Wellness Service on Middle Campus ready to assist when needed. I urge you to keep dialogues open with your child as they find their feet and make a successful transition into life as a varsity student. Please be mindful in your interactions that some students don't adapt to campus life as readily as others. Some students even find the transition from high school to university a very stressful time. Our first year experience program helps make this transition as seamless as possible. It also helps to identify students who may need additional help and advice. So encourage your child to step out of their comfort zone and meet and interact with other students. They shouldn't be scared to go to people who have their first year experience logo or written all over their placards to ask them questions. We know through various studies that peers often serve as good teachers when they share their experiences with one another. As parents and caregivers, we understandably want to protect our children and those in our care, and the pandemic has strengthened this instinctive reaction. However, I ask you to encourage your child to engage in as many aspects of the university life as possible, because we have a lot of activity going on in the university despite academics. They can join one of the 100 cultural and recreational societies. They can sign up for any of the 40 sporting clubs that we have here at university, or volunteer in a community development project where their contribution can make a lasting social impact. In short, they should strive to maintain a healthy balance between studying and relaxation, while always protecting themselves from the virus so they can pace themselves for the academic and social journey ahead. By encouraging your child to be immersed in a learning environment such as UCT, you can help them to understand not just head knowledge, but new ways of thinking, being, and doing, not just from teaching staff, but from others as well. This is the strength that comes from diversity. While we know you may worry about your child and you will have many other concerns at home, as a mother, I want to encourage you to let them know how much you miss them whenever it's possible. That is so important. But please also free them as much as possible from home worries. Don't call them and tell them about what's not going right, that they should help you unravel at home. They are dealing with a lot already. They need to have the freedom to commit themselves fully to their studies and student life. During orientation week, your child will be given a lot of advice on how to make the most of their university career. UCT's orientation office is dedicated to making them feel at home here. So please remind your child to visit the orientation office counselors at the O-Week stall. It's on the plaza this week in front of Sarah Bartman Hall, where they will answer any questions and all questions. For the duration of the orientation week, they also offer daily campus tours, which your child can book on the Student Affairs website. These tours will not only help them become familiar with the campus layout, but it will also give them an opportunity to meet and make friends with other first years. They'll also be able to interact with senior student tour guides who will share their insights about what to expect from campus life. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me, and thank you again for choosing UCT. We undertake to ensure your child will have a wonderful learning experience that will enrich them immeasurably. And we expect them to have a lot of fun along the way as they study at UCT. Ultimately, we share the same aspirations for your students, for your children. They are our students. We want them to succeed. Together, we will witness with excitement their growth and development as they become the kind of graduates that we'll all be proud of in the future. Finally, let me remind you all that the breakout sessions of the deans will be held in after a 30-minute break, but I'll talk to you about that after we've had a few people who are speaking. So I'll be hanging out here with you, and I will introduce the next speakers so that at the end, I can then give you details of how you can go into the engagements with the deans, and those engagements with the deans, You can ask them questions and they'll be able to answer you. Now I want to introduce Ms. Sia Plakis. Sia is the Deputy President of the SRC, currently acting as the President of the SRC. We are so delighted, Sia, that you made yourself available to do this very important work. And Sia will deliver her message on student life at UCT. Over to you, Sia.
Greetings to all. Thank you to Professor Pakeng for that wonderful introduction. Greetings to the speakers of the session, greetings to Mr. Pillay, and greetings to all that have attended. As Professor Pakeng has said, I am Sia Plaki, the acting president of the SRC. I'm in my third and hopefully final year of BCom in philosophy, politics, and economics. I would like to extend my greetings to, the overprotective parents. I also greet the Liza Fred styled parents, and I greet the helicopter parents. I greet the parents with the not so great relationships with their kids, and I greet the parents that wish to see their kids excel and succeed beyond the heights they themselves have reached. But most importantly, I also greet the parents whose children represent generational curse breakers and hope bearers of their families. And I greet those parents that will for the first time let their chicks out of their nest. This era for you and your children marks the beginning of an end, the transition to adulthood and independence, and as well as the transition to self-actualization and realization. As a student myself, mine is to shed light on student life and what students can expect when studying at the #1 university in South Africa, in Africa as a whole. Students can expect to discover themselves in what most of us consider a safe and open space. Students can expect to make a lifelong, meaningful relationships and deepen their understanding on how the world around them works. Students can expect to develop beyond the rigid barriers of academics, and from time to time, students can expect to be visited by the VC during their study sessions. Perhaps a small fire scale or two. Alas, though, however, students can expect a holistic experience. It would be amiss, however, for me to leave you with a rose-tinted perspective of university life. I think parents should expect their children to call them crying after failing their first test of the semester. Expect your child to come back asking for more allowance money 4.5 days after you have sent it already. Expect multiple curriculum changes, N+2 explanations. Expect university shutdowns and protests, as we must always understand that we do not live in a vacuum. Inequality and gender-based violence, all these socioeconomic issues do penetrate university life. However, to alleviate your worries, I offer you this. From inside the classroom, students are exposed to class representatives that are there to advocate for their academic queries. Beyond that, students have access to faculty representatives who serve a similar purpose. In their residence spaces, students are exposed to house-com members, residence tutors, residence mentors, and subwardens that are available 24/7 for their well-being and safeguarding and safekeeping. And of course, in the broader aspect of things, students have access to us, that is the Student Representative Council, where their queries and needs and wants can find expression in this SRC. In order to craft this holistic experience, students are exposed to services such as the Student Wellness Services that is there to cater for students' well-being. Students are also exposed to the Office of Inclusivity and Change that deals with the various socioeconomic factors, including sexuality and gender-based issues. As well as a plethora of societies. I mean, there is not a society I can think of that does not cater to one's needs and wants. Students also have at their disposal the career service that is there to equip students to enter the job market after life after university. Therefore, to bring this to a conclusion, I have highlighted the ups and downs of student life from a student perspective. However, yours as parents is to hold our hands as we finish off the last round of this marathon. The marathon being our schooling career, as we transition into adulthood, as we transition into independence. So with that, then I would like to give back to Professor Bakeng, and thank you for this opportunity to speak. The SRC is available for any queries and any questions through our emails. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sia, for that very instructive talk. It's always important to get a student's perspective because the parents hear from your experience, and you've given them a well-rounded experience of a student, like the high moments and the low moments, because they will be there and parents will be needed to support their children. I want to hand over now to our registrar, Mr. Royston Pillay. Royston.
Thank you, Professor Bakeng. It's always good afternoon to all who are attending this online event. I want to echo the welcome that the Vice Chancellor has extended to all of you. And of course, it's always a little bit of a challenge to speak after the SRC President has spoken, but I will try to do my best. We are certainly pleased that 2022 is underway, and we recognize the very real challenges that students and families have had over the past 2 years, given the pandemic. It does mean, as I'm sure we all recognize, that we must face the reality of a changed world. And in our context, it's about how, in our context, being UCT's context, it's about how we conduct the affairs of the university, how we teach, how we learn, with every intention to get back to a much higher degree of contact learning. So we certainly value very highly being your child's university of choice, and we remain committed to fulfilling our obligations as a university that flow from that. There are many factors, as I know you appreciate, that go into a decision as to which university to study at, and together with your son and daughter, we are pleased that you have chosen UCT as the institution that will profoundly impact the next phase of your child's life. Insofar as I can add to what you already know about UCT, given your own research that you would have done about the institution, together with your child in the lead up to applying for a study place at UCT, I will make mention of the following few points. UCT is indeed a special place. It has a physical location of immense natural beauty. It has an it has an academic reputation, as the Vice Chancellor has already pointed out, that is known around the world. Very, very importantly, as the library is the heart of any learning institution, UCT has a magnificent library. In terms of physical extent, UCT has an extent of 25 square kilometers, and in fact, if we were not having this event online, we would most certainly have been in the Sarah Baartman Hall, which is the focal point of our main campus. You may also know that UCT is South Africa's oldest university, having started way back in 1829 as a school for boys. Now, it's important to make the point that this institution has come a long way since then, with women today, and this has been the case for a little while now, making up 52% of the UCT student body. That's a really, really important statistic, given the history of the institution as having started as a school for boys. We are, by South African standards, a medium-sized university. What that means is it's in the region of 29,000 students. You would have about 4,500 staff members. And it is also interesting to note that in our residence system, we have 7,400 beds. And further in respect of the physical extent of this institution, in addition to our main campus, which is on the slopes of Devil's Peak, there are satellite campuses in Observatory, where we have our health sciences faculty, in Gardens in the city, where we have the School of Fine Art and the Department of Drama located, at the V&A waterfront in the city itself, where the UCT Business School has its location, and linked to the business school is the Solutions Space Hub in the Philippi Village, which is at the epicenter of some of Cape Town's townships. Now, ordinarily, pre-COVID, the Jamie shuttle buses typically transport our students and staff around the campus and also from some of the regions beyond the boundaries of the campus. Ordinarily, pre-COVID, those Jamie shuttles would travel in the region of 1 million kilometers per year, transporting our students, transporting members of staff. And of course, during the lockdown experience, 2021 and 2020, that service was scaled back and it was adapted to be a fit for purpose service in terms of scale, given the lockdown that we were experiencing. But it's important to note that this is a significant transport service that the institution has provided and continues to remain committed to providing. And so, with that having been said, the scale of the institution in terms of physical extent, our satellite campuses, the size of the institution in terms of population, staff and students, the extent of our transport service, it is therefore not inappropriate to think about UCT as a not so small town, given the scale of the operations. UCT, as is the case with all other public institutions, is governed through a range of policies and committees. Those policies obviously draw on the requirements in terms of the South African Higher Education Act. The Vice-Chancellor and a team, they run and they manage and lead the university. And students, through their leadership structures, participate as full members in the decision-making processes of this institution, right up to the most senior governance body of this university, and that is the University Council. So the effect of all of this is that there are huge opportunities that exist for our students, but of course, that also goes along with very serious levels of responsibility. So student rules of conduct exist, they are published, they are in the public domain, and as an educational institution, it is appropriate that the student conduct rules, as referenced previously in a comment that the Vice-Chancellor had made, that these conduct rules are informed by the values of the institution. It's really, really very important to stress that point. And these are the values of fairness, amongst others, truth and respect. And when we deal with conduct violations on the part of students, we always strive to do this in ways that support learning, that support the education of our students, rather than having an overly punitive focus. So from my experience in terms of engaging with parents over a number of years now, inevitably there are many questions, quite correctly and understandably, that parents will pose to the university, officers of the university and various members of staff of this institution. But I would like to draw attention and reference to 3 common issues that are consistently uppermost in the minds of parents at this particular point in time. And the one has to do with questions related to initiation practices. The other is a question along the lines of, can I as a parent get an academic progress report for my child? And what can I do to best support my child? Whether you are a parent of a student who's entering university for the first time, or whether you in fact have already had the experience of one of your children having attended university before. So with respect to initiation, we take a firm view on this, and we are committed to act against perpetrators of initiation, for the simple reason that it is not acceptable to treat others in ways that are demeaning. Again, it goes to the issue of important values of this institution. With regard to progress reports, academic progress reports, it's important to make the point that during the application cycle, when your child was in grade 12, the majority of students are minors, and many would not yet have reached the age of 18. But I can guarantee you, by the middle of this year, by the middle of 2022, all of the students who are entering the university as undergraduates would have reached the age of 18 or older. And they therefore would have the status of majors. And this is a very, very material fact, because the university regards the contract that exists to be one that is between the student and the parent. So what does this mean for requests from parents for progress reports or reports on the progress of your child? Now, as we regard that information as the student's information, and because the student is no longer a minor, we consistently decline the requests for that information because we consider that to be information that is confidential to the student. So what therefore is our advice under those circumstances? Because of course, as parents, you have an interest in this matter. You are also the fee payers, so you have an interest in this matter in that regard as well. Our advice therefore under the circumstances, our strong advice is that at the very early stage, now already, for you to negotiate an arrangement with your child as to how he or she or they will keep you informed about their progress. So it's a compact, it's an agreement with your child, and you would come to an agreement, an arrangement in terms of how your child will keep you informed as to his or her academic progress. Again, the Vice-Chancellor has made reference to, how to approach the important question that parents ask in terms of how can I support my child. And the SRC President has also made reference to the fact that it is worth underscoring what they have said, to encourage your child to seek help at an early stage. That is really, really important. The earlier that is done, the better. It is almost always more challenging where a student seeks help at a stage that is later than what might otherwise have been preferred. We know that students often do not want to ask for help, but it is really important to recognize that early warning and early intervention, those are crucial in order to support all of our students as effectively as possible. And this could be in the form of seeking help from a warden in a residence, if your child is in a residence, a curriculum advisor in the faculty, the professional staff in the Department of Student Affairs, which includes services related to health and counseling services, as well as the services of our international office, because we have a really important cohort of our student body who are international students. These services are available, and I am drawing that to your attention and encouraging you, asking you rather, to encourage your child to access those services. As to the pace of the academic year, there are a number of good things about 2022. A number of challenges, yes, but a number of good things. And one of those is that this year is starting much earlier than was the case last year. Last year, it was almost 3 weeks later that we were doing the parent orientation talk. So we're starting significantly earlier this year than we did last year. The point, though, is doesn't matter what time one actually, or point in an annual cycle one starts, is that once the year starts, it proceeds rapidly. And that pace can often be the reason that trips students up. Students often stumble at one or another stage, even in cases where they might have been a top student at their school during their matric year. The year is divided into 2 semesters. That is the model that we use at the university. And each semester has between 56 and 60 teaching days. So at the most, it's 120 teaching days for an academic year for undergraduate study at our institution. So the pressure is there, no doubt about that. But also, this is a fantastic time in the life of young people to learn, to grow, to explore, and prepare themselves for their place in society. Allow me to draw to a conclusion by making 2 further points. And it is this. UCT, the University of Cape Town at the southernmost tip of the African continent, has a function and a purpose and an obligation to continue to be relevant. It, as an institution of higher learning, given the history of our country and the history of this institution, it has to function in a context of a changing wider world. And it has to recognize, as we do, that those who study here have not necessarily all traveled the same life's path to reach the destination that is UCT. We have to accept that our students will raise issues that may not have been raised before. And as a learning institution that recognizes that is an important ingredient for continuing to be a relevant institution. UCT is a large organization, as we've already indicated, a community of over 35,000 people, staff and students included, and there are multiple services that this complex system is required to offer. And again, I make the analogy of UCT actually is a not so small town. We do, of course, aim to get right that which we are required to do, and we always strive to make improvements, but we do have challenges. We recognize that, and we always, echoing a request that the Vice Chancellor also made, we invite you as parents to let us have your feedback as to how we can do better. That said, allow me to extend my warm welcome to you, warm welcome to the University of Cape Town. Thank you. VC, back to you.
Thank you very much, Royston. I'm now going to hand over to the video. We have a video for you, parents, that will give you an idea of how teaching and learning is going to happen this year. And I'll come back.
Welcome to the University of Cape Town. You may be wondering where the students starting at UCT this year will have the usual first-year experience. As you know, the pandemic has changed the way we teach to incorporate more online learning along with on-campus engagement. This change provides students with unique opportunities to build their capabilities to succeed in the increasingly digital world of work. Like universities across the world, UCT responded to the COVID-19 pandemic by moving all of our teaching online in a matter of weeks. Our students continued to learn and our staff to teach by making use of digital technologies to create interactive online classrooms. Building on valuable lessons learned, we have improved our support and teaching methods to create the best possible teaching and learning environment for our students. So, how will students be taught in 2022? Most students will be studying in a blended mode, experiencing both online learning and face-to-face physically distanced teaching to create stimulating and supportive spaces for learning. Classrooms, whether virtual, in-person, or a hybrid experience, will remain places of deep learning and interaction. Each course will have different requirements for on-campus instruction, depending on their specific teaching needs. Whether learning online or face-to-face, students will be engaged in a full day of learning activities. There will be a timetable, lectures, and online learning activities, and in some cases, activities that require students to be on campus. Our online platforms will enable students to participate in class discussions, tutorials, and group work, and interact directly with tutors and lecturers And when students are required to be on campus, careful protocols will be in place to ensure a safe environment for face-to-face tutorials, practical work, tests, and exams. To get the most out of the blended learning experience, students will need a laptop or a desktop and a reliable connection to Wi-Fi or mobile data. Students in UCT residences will have access to campus Wi-Fi to ensure that all our students can experience the best possible learning environment. UCT will provide monthly data bundles to students who don't have adequate Wi-Fi or mobile access. Students will be able to access physically distant study spaces on campus during the day. These spaces offer full connectivity, enabling students with poor connectivity in their home environment to access online learning experiences. Course conveners and faculty staff will communicate with students about what they need for their course and when they need to be on campus. We know that studying in a blended mode with some online and some face-to-face will be hard at times. So we have ensured that there are various online support services for students to help them to navigate this space. Please encourage your student to make use of the many online UCT student support services. Students will have access to their tutors, course conveners, and student advisors for academic support, as well as virtual services such as the Writing Center and libraries. UCT Student Wellness Services offers phone counseling with professionals and a 24-hour student care line. Students can also contact UCT Cares, which is a centralized help service that directs student requests to the relevant department or service unit. Finally, we know that staying socially connected is more important for mental health and general well-being. Encourage students to join some of the society's cultural organizations and sports clubs that remain vibrant and active both virtually and face-to-face. As a higher learning institution, we will strive to ensure that all students have an engaging and enriching experience at the University of Cape Town.
Let me thank you, the speakers for today, our registrar, Mr. Royston Pillay, for a very instructive talk to our parents. I hope you were taking notes. Some of the things that we say today, you will definitely need a few months from now, if not sooner. So thank you very much, Royston, for sharing all of that with our parents. Sia, thank you very much for the informative talk. And I guess, you know, I think when I think about what you said and what Royston said about things that will happen on campus, it's a place of growth. So parents, do not worry too much when you see student activism. It's part of growth. They engage with ideas. It's our job to manage it and make sure that students are aware of their rights and responsibilities. So rest assured, academics and achieving excellence is key, and we put everything in place that will make that possible. So all the best to you and your children. But from now on, there's going to be breakout sessions with the deans of the various faculties, and they will start at around 3:30. So you can have a break, but the sessions will be in a form of a Teams meeting instead of a live event that we're having now. So you'll be able to engage with the deans in that way. They will provide you with an opportunity to interact with the dean, ask questions, and so on. So I would like to encourage you to attend those sessions and ask all the questions, attend the sessions and ask all the questions that you may have regarding your child's time at UCT. And thank you very much once again for joining us. Thank you to ICTS for ensuring that this session proceeds smoothly as it did. Thank you also to our colleagues at Corporate Communications and Marketing who organized this and made sure that it happened as it is. I can see some of the deans are online, and thank you to the deans in advance for what you have prepared for our parents, for actually all the orientation program that you've been running for students since last week. The reports that I'm getting are positive, exciting. I walked on campus this week, and the students are excited. And let me tell you, parents, international students are here as well. And we at UCT pride ourselves on our diversity and creating an opportunity for our students to be exposed to students from elsewhere in the world, as well as from all other cultures and walks of life. So go and meet with your deans, enjoy your stay with us as a UCT, a member of the UCT community. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.